Geek Show.
It's thegeekshow.com, 2 3s rather than 2 E's, twisted.co.nz as well, and MsBehaviour on Twitter. It is MsBehaviour with us this morning. Good morning, Ms B.
Good morning, Wammo.
Been looking forward to this segment all morning this morning.
I know, fun.
Talking about WiiMote hacks.
WiiMote hacks indeed, yeah.
Because a fair few people, I mean not everyone, but a fair few people have a Nintendo Wii these days. I know that someone in the office has been addicted to it over the past couple of weeks because he's only just got one.
Yes, it's definitely on my wish list. Ever since I saw them, I've really wanted one. Not just because the games look like so much fun, because they're so physical, but also all the really clever things you can actually do with the little WiiMote controllers that they come with.
Yeah, so some boffins have gone out and hacked them and put them to other applications other than games.
Yeah, there's a whole, all sorts of really interesting things that people have been doing with them. Now, the one guy that geeks will probably have heard of is a guy called Johnny Lee, who is a research student, I think Berkeley or Stanford, or one of the MIT, or one of the big universities over in the States. And he's had a couple of, or 3 particular videos that he's had out on YouTube for the past couple of years, which the first time I saw, I was like, how cool is that? What he's done is he's made 3 instructable videos about how you can take a WiiMote, which is the Nintendo Wii remote controller. And the clever thing about these little controllers is that you hold them in your hands and you control the game by the motion of the controller.
Yes.
So they're what they're called haptic devices, which give you feedback sensations. So remember, we all back in the day, we used to have little rumble strips in the Nintendo controllers. You remember when we used to play
That's right.
Super Mario Kart and all those games?
And now they're kind of, the standard in most controllers these days.
That's right, to give you some sort of feedback. But the clever thing about the WiiMote is it has a couple of sensors in it. It's got an accelerometer in there, which allows it to tell when you're moving it through, left or right, up and down.
Yeah.
But also an optical sensor in it. So you've got these two types of sensors to allow you to manipulate things on screen via gesture recognition and pointing. So that's how it works. So you can see how great this is for gaming, because you can make your game controller into a bowling ball or a tennis racket. And we've all seen videos of people playing the games. But what Johnny Lee's done is he's taken the bits, well, basically the way that this works, and he's constructed 3 really cool things. The first one, how you can set up a finger tracking device through the WiiMote. The other one, he shows you how to make a multi-point interactive whiteboard using the remote. Right. And the really cool one that he's done is a head tracking for desktop virtual reality displays using the WiiMote. So you can see you can actually turn these really quite simple but very clever little devices into really awesome stuff. So there's a great site called hacknmod.com, so HACKNMOD. And I was having a little look around this the other day, and I noticed that they've posted up an article to the top 30 WiiMote hacks with links to all the cool things that people have done with the WiiMote. So I was looking, I thought, this is really awesome, so just pick out a few of them. A firefighting robot. A robot that fights fires. You can control a modular synth. You can make a WiiMote-based guitar. You can control your house with the WiiMote. You can use it to basically put together what they're calling a self-balancing Segway instead of a Segway. So it's made a really small version because it's got the accelerometer in it. So
of course.
Because of the feedback from it, if you get your device to adjust the angle of lean the other way, then you can actually have a self-balancing device.
And people actually made these things already?
People have actually gone out and made these things, and I'm going to stick some links up on the Geek Show site this morning to where you can actually go and see these. There's things like interfacing Google Earth with a WiiMote. I'm just clicking on that one now and having a look at it. Someone's driving an industrial robotic arm control. There's WiiMote-controlled hexapod robots. Control a canoe with servo motors and a WiiMote joystick. And this is a good one. There's another very simple programming type that people have been getting into called Arduino programming, which is very, very simple very basic electronics to make your devices do really simple things. I'm going to do a piece on this, The Big Idea, quite soon, because I'm really interested in what you can do with Arduino and then interfacing it into things like clothing, so you can get wearable devices and wearable electronics. But I just noticed that one of them is using Arduino electronics and a nunchuck, which is the other WiiMote device that they use. That's not the one that looks like a wand. It's the one that looks like the round sort of nunchuck balls.
Yeah.
Somebody's put together, using Arduino and a nunchuck device, a real-time DIY pan and tilt camera.
No.
Now imagine if you're like us, that you just launched a radio platform and you were planning on bringing radio with pictures. So we've got ideas for Twisted TV coming up, and we've got all our Logitech little cameras around the place because we're using webcams instead of broadcast cameras.
Yeah.
Coming at this whole area from the web rather than TV.
Yeah.
How cool is that you could have a studio set up with basic webcams, but using these simple devices that you can hack together yourself? You could have pan and tilt camera set up that you could be controlling from a master device that you make yourself.
So you just sit there,
yeah,
right? And
camera 2, adjusting the angle.
You're waving around.
I know. And I also thought the WiiMote controlled lawnmower sounded like a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
yeah, absolutely. So that would be sitting on your porch, right?
Just waving your Wii around to your robot lawnmower, saying, "Go there, cut that patch of grass. You've missed a bit." So the other cool, so there's amazing, people. It's really limited by your own imagination, and I'm sure there's plenty of people out there going, "I've got a brilliant idea for this."
Yeah.
But the other sides to this that I'm also very interested in. I noticed a story yesterday. I think it was on the Times Online, about the use of WiiMotes for rehab, for physical rehabilitation.
Is that a real term, rehab?
Well, that's one of the terms that they're using in the article, and I thought that's quite funny. And I have also had a little read around this morning, and apparently, yes, that people are now referring to rehab therapy for people who have physical problems such as Parkinson's.
Right.
Now, I'm very interested in this because I do have Parkinson's in my family.
Yeah.
So, it's one of those things I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm.
And you keep an eye on things and just to see what developments are coming through. So there's a great article, I'll link through to this on the site, which is talking about how over the past few years, because the Wiis have been out since, I think, 2006, so, we've only had them around for a few years, people have started to realise, especially the older generation, and it's this classic thing, use it or lose it. As you get older, you slow down, your reflexes get slower, hand-to-eye coordination grows, etc. But that's usually down to the fact that people don't do as much physical activity as they used to. So what they're starting to find is that some people with certain health problems or just aging, and they're finding that their motion is starting to slow down. They're finding the most amazingly positive effects after only a few weeks of using the Wii for especially people with Parkinson's disease.
Well, I suppose it makes sense, because it's exercising those motor skills, isn't it?
Correct, that's exactly right. So it said that in an 8-week study, 18 people were asked to play Wii sports, so that's boxing, 10-pin bowling. They were asked to do it for an hour a day, 3 times a week for 4 weeks. And by the end of it, all of them showed significant improvements in rigidity, movement, fine motor skills, and energy levels. And most importantly, their depression levels had gone down. Because obviously, if your body starts to seize off on, you're going to get terribly depressed by this. So the most amazing, beneficial effects are coming from this.
I could see possibly also stroke victim rehabilitation as well.
This is exactly where they're being used now. Occupational therapists are now prescribing rehab to people. Especially for neurological conditions such as Parkinson's. And there's a lovely story about this lady who just started to see the early onset of Parkinson's. So she got a Wii, started playing with her granddaughter, and was rubbish, carried on practicing. And she said since she's used it, her fitness and coordination have improved. But the other day, her grandson threw her an orange, and she caught it, and she'd never have been able to have done that before.
Really?
It had just worked the sectors in her brain to switch back on again, because it's not just a body thing; it's about how your brain takes the signals in. And the games are fun, and also it's something you can play with the whole family. So I think this is really exciting. The Parkinson's Disease Society in the UK has actually started putting out media releases and saying, look, we should really look into this. And the most important thing is that, whenever you have any motor control problems, you're told to keep active. But of course, you can keep active at home with the Wii.
Yes.
And they've even pointed out that people in nursing homes can play lying down. Even if they're not able to.
Well, that's right.
Yeah.
Just, it's just using arms. So,
that's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So this whole idea of rehabilitation and rehab and Wii fitness, I think is going to catch on a lot more. And there's just these wonderful stories, like a patient who's walking with a cane for 2 years and 4 months after using Wii Fit didn't need it anymore.
That's cool.
So I'm really fascinated in this whole area about the use of gaming interfaces and gaming, actual, like the brain games as well that have been coming out, to help people slow the onset of aging, because it is really, a lot of it is a use it or lose it, and if you just stop doing these things, then your body's just going to forget, and things slow down. So
all right. Well, people will find the links up at the thegeekshow.com, 2 3s rather than 2 E's.
I shall pop them up in the next 5 minutes.
Perfect. Thanks, Ms. B.